Hello, everybody. Welcome back to AniYayAniNay. As always, I'm your host, John.
And I'm Joey.
All right. Who's ready for another exciting podcast?
Yeah, you know I am. Woohoo.
All right. Let's get this thing started. Hello, you guys. As always, welcome back to AniYayAniNay. Before we get started, we'd just like to give a big shout out to all of our supporters because, as always, we love y'all. We appreciate all the support you guys give us. That's just our thing.
We love everything you've done, and we're trying to do the best we can for y'all as well.
Yes. We just recently passed 2,900, so we're only about 80 away from 3,000. So please help us get there, reach our goal. So we are definitely trying to get to that point. Today, actually, we are going to be reviewing the final episodes of RWBY Icequeendom, episodes 10 through 12, and then giving our final output on everything on the show. Let's just get started talking on the episodes themselves. Basically, in the end of RWBY Icequeendom, we got to see them get Weiss out of her dream. And that was basically the whole point of the story, of getting her out of the dream. But also, at the same time, we also see, Blake getting captured by the nightmare Grimm. And then...
No. See, Blake didn't get captured by it.
No, I mean, she was possessed by it.
No, she gave herself willingly to the Grimm to stop the evil Weiss.
Negative Weiss.
Yeah, negative Weiss. Okay, which gave her more power of controlling the Grimm. She never was captured. She wasn't in control completely, but she gave herself willingly to the Grimm.
Basically, the whole point is that the reason why they did this was because so that RWBY could try to save Weiss from the nightmare. She was going to fight the nightmare. And of course, like we expected, the way she defeated the nightmare was with her eyes.
Yep.
And then, after that, when Weiss was freed from the nightmare, they had to fight off Blake, of course, or help her gain her senses back. And then, after all that, they came back from the real world. And everyone was happy and congratulating them for their success. And then, of course, we have Weiss being embarrassed, of course, with everything that happened. And then, in the final episode, we got basically the split between what happened between their time off, the remaining time of their off. This is probably back when, in Volume 2, when we first saw Mercury and Emerald go to do their job. We're seeing them instead. And then we go straight to the lunchroom scene where they have the big food fight.
Yep.
So basically the way it ended, in my opinion, I don't think there's going to be any continuation with it because it basically just filled in a hole between Volume 1 and Volume 2.
But there's a possibility it could be filling in the holes for all of them, though. Some of the holes. It's a possibility that they could be doing that with it.
There could be a possibility they'll fill in the hole somewhere, but I mean, this one kind of made sense. This was kind of like a test one, but it's not too. I mean, it wasn't as. This Ice Queendom show started off really great. It was really good. I loved the animation and everything, but then it kind of dipped down a bit. And then came back up. So it was moderately okay, in my opinion. Wasn't amazing and not perfect, but it was still okay. I mean, it doesn't capture the zest like Monty Ohm did, since it is his creation. I mean, I'm impressed with the 2D animation. I mean, it wasn't perfect. I mean, it had some problems, but it was good. But let's give it a bit of a more conclusion. for any first time watchers, I feel like this show's there are some things that are gonna throw people off.
Yeah, for first time watchers, yeah, for sure. Now I feel like if you've seen RWBY, right?
Yeah.
Then you're not gonna be thrown off.
No, you're not gonna be thrown off.
Because I mean, yeah, you will be thrown off whenever if you hadn't, you would be thrown off whenever they first go into the dream. You'll be like, what the crap? What is this? A little bit, like, because you're thinking it's something. You're thinking it's something else. It's like actual life or something. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, like, that's what got me. That was the only thing that really got me. I was like, oh, all right.
Well, I mean, I can understand going into dreams. I mean, Grimms have those kind of powers in a way. I mean, we already saw the fact that, I mean, in Volume 6, there were Grimm that weren't even strong, but they just drained the life force away out of RWBY, just constantly made them weaker and weaker and then completely depressed. But also, I mean, for the first time watchers, I mean, they're going to be watching this. They'll see like a great story. And then the main thing I'm talking about is like RWBY's eyes. Okay, we saw that. We know what happened. We know how her eyes work basically this early in the story. But anyone probably who's a first-time watcher, never seen RWBY, never saw the original thing, they're going to be thinking, oh, why didn't she just do that from the beginning? It's like, it's because it doesn't work like that. RWBY doesn't know how to use her eyes yet. It's the reason why Ozpin admitted her, because she could do that.
Yep. But I think she figures it out in this show.
I don't think she figured it out that early. She figured it out. She didn't figure it out till Volume 3.
Yeah. But at the end, she even made the statement, RWBY even made the statement that thanks to Weiss, she's learned a new power. Or something. Learned something new about herself or something like that.
She learned something new about herself, but I don't think she was referencing to her eyes because she didn't really think about her eyes until Volume 3. She just thought it was unique because her eyes were silver. It was just unique, a genome trait.
But I mean, it's a possibility that they thought that she was referring to that. You know what I'm saying? And she just didn't really let it show that she was thinking about her eyes.
I think what she was really mentioning that she figured out about herself was the fact that when she got taken over by the Grimm, it's because she has her own insecurities. Mm-hmm. She has her insecurities about failure because she doesn't want to fail people. Mm-hmm. She wants to be like, this hero like her mom was and be like the person like her dad was. She wants to kind of be like both of them. Mm-hmm. But I think we know that RWBY has more of her mom's traits while Yang has more of her dad's traits. So, I mean, there's that. Now, the only thing I can see what they'll probably really do is maybe after the fall of Beacon, they'll do a little bit of a story about how, like, where everyone is still. But they kind of did that in Volume 4, but it was kind of like a jump ahead. But maybe do more of another story, like about Blake maybe running RWBY while she's back home still for a little bit, and Yang while she's in her, she's in that place after losing her arm and getting her ass kicked by Adam. I won't say her ass kicked, but she did get beat pretty bad. She got taken down with one strike. Mm-hmm. And then maybe they'll go into more detail about other things like, but still, my big thing is they should do a backstory on Team Stark, because Team Stark's been on my mind for the longest time. We got 3 members of them out there. They're all doing their own thing. I mean, after Volume 5, Raven kind of just went away for a second because she got shamed by her own daughter, and then of course, Ty's still at home, of course, sitting at home doing his thing or being a teacher. And of course, Crow is helping Team RWBY. And we already know what happened to Summer. Or we at least got a thought because we saw in Volume 8 of what happened to that guy in the Grimm. Yeah. sorry if we're going into a bit of spoilers for anyone who hasn't actually watched the original show for Team RWBY, but basically we've watched all of RWBY at least until Volume 9 comes out, which we're really excited about that as well. And we're just saying that the massive issue for this show, in my opinion, was poor pacing. I mean, telling the story was kind of the way they told the story and paced it. It was just not really that great, in my opinion.
I mean, it was it was good. It was good. It was decent. You know, I like the action in it. But I mean, the pace wise was like a little off to me.
I know. It was mainly because of the way those first 3 episodes were. Now, there's a lot of stuff they missed if you watch the original RWBY, there's a lot of stuff they missed with the original teams that they just tried to squeeze into 3 episodes. It was like they were trying to get through these moments in Volume 1 so we can get to where we want to be. So, I mean, they just like zip through that with things they thought, I guess, were kind of important, and then just moved to, and then they put us in Volume 2, and in the in-betweenquel and Volume 2, their story in Volume 2, basically is what I'm trying to say. But they didn't capture the zest as to, at the end of the show, why is John training? I mean, he's the strategist. He don't need to train. I was like, there's a reason why he's training. He's training to get stronger, but there's a reason why he wants to get stronger. It's not just that he's a strategist. He's also a fighter at heart. So, I mean, they kind of skipped a lot about John. They just made him look like a doofus. They kind of like skipped away why he's such a lovable doofus and what makes him such a great character. They didn't go into thoughts about, they kind of made Nora, the rest of Team Juniper, all side characters, not giving them like any importance when they're very important, of course. Especially if you're going to watch RWBY, Team Juniper is like a very important team. They go through a lot, though John takes the worst of it. But, I mean, I understand what they were trying to do with this original story, but the pacing was the main issue. Maybe if they'd done that a little bit better, it might have been better. Because I have a good feeling this is also where first-time watchers are going to be scratching their heads. Because with the bad pacing like this, that kind of makes bad character development.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even though the pacing was kind of bad, that doesn't mean the show was horrible. The show definitely still had moments, but then again, almost every show has its flaws. I'm gonna go ahead and say not every show that we've reviewed on our podcast, guys, has been perfection. There's definitely every show we've watched, I'm pretty sure we can spot something that's like, oh, they could have done that a lot better.
Yeah.
No show is perfect. Okay, let me rephrase that. Probably no anime is perfect, because I'm pretty sure GOT was close to perfect. Game of Thrones. It's just too bad the show outran the books, because then maybe George R. R. Martin would have maybe ended it better. I mean, I don't know. Do you think you can think of an anime that would you say would be perfect? And do not say Tokyo Ghoul.
I wasn't, because I can't even think of it. Because Tokyo Ghoul's not perfect.
So you were even saying your favorite has flaws. Yes. So yes, the show had its flaws, as does every show out there. It was good overall, but it was good overall. The main characters were there. There was a story there. The story was meh, but then again, not every story has to be perfection to be technically a good show. The main thing that captured my eye more than anything other than the story was the art. The 2D animation they did for this show was really good, since RWBY was basically a 3D animated show. So, I mean, that's really great. And the way they did it was really great. It went away from Monty's style of fighting, because when you've watched the original RWBY on Rooster Teeth, you see that Monty kind of like has his own style. The way he fights.
Yeah.
He does all his fight scenes, because that was like his thing. He was more of the artist. Even though he created it, he was the artist. And this kind of gave it more of the anime feel. So we got the anime feel of the fighting. But that's basically what I liked the most about it. The art and the story was meh. Sound was good. Music was really good. I actually kind of liked that opening. It was good. It actually sounded like Casey Lee and Jeff Williams did this opening too, like they've done all the music for RWBY. Sounded like the same person. But overall, the show gets an Aniyay on my end.
I'm going to have to agree and give it an Aniyay as well.
But, I mean, so overall, RWBY Icequeendom got an Aniyay. So,
What?
Yep. Really great. But as for what we're doing next, I know we're like falling behind for you guys, but we're really trying to pick back up. We've just been busy so that we can get more shows out there to you. I know definitely one we're probably going to hit next is Cyberpunk, along with our Studio Ghibli show, of course. That's probably why our list keeps growing so much, because we got Studio Ghibli, of course, along with our list. And Studio Ghibli is like a completely separate thing. But we hope you enjoyed this episode as well. Please tell your friends about our podcast and stay updated for new episodes. But as always, I'm your host, John.
And I'm Joey.
We'll see you
on the next one.